Hi everyone, I am back now to complete this very lovely elephant postcard. Now I have 3 more greens that I am thinking about doing, but I'm not sure whether I just want to stick with these sort of nice bright greens. I've got olive greens, I'll show you. I've got these 2 more olivey greens, but I think I'm just going to grab this one and stick with this one and this one that we used before. I think that'll work better. So we'll have less of a variety of colour, but I think it will just all tone in nicely. I'm coming in close because I'm going to let you see the details of what I'm doing. So I've grabbed number 25 and I'm going to sort of come out from here because I want some different colour greens near to these greens, and then we'll just sort of vary it a little bit as we go. So I'm going to colour in the same way that I did with those. So basically just going quite layered near the flowers and then less towards the tips of the leaves. And excuse me, I've just had a snack and it's caught in my throat. I went off for a coffee, but I actually made a coffee and had some leftovers from last night that I spotted in the fridge. Actually, they were from a couple of nights ago. I thought, well, those need eating up. I'd just tuck in. So what I had, I'm just going to do all these the same because I think they would be the same. There was some roasted chickpeas that were left over from with sort of spiced roasted chickpeas are delicious. So I just ate those. So as my snack, which is a big snack, it was quite a lot, it was more than I had thought, but it was very nice. I enjoyed it, and I shall have a late lunch probably now as a result. But anyway, I'm not normally a snacky type person, but I try and listen to my body, and I was definitely really hungry and not just craving. Sometimes you're sort of craving food, you're not really hungry. These bits are very fine. I'm going to sharpen my pencil. I just got bits all over the desk. Let's move up so you can see. There we go. So yeah, I try and listen to make sure that I am hungry and not just craving something. Or else you tend to eat for the sake of it rather than because you really need it. And it works for me. My weight stays at a reasonable level. I'm a healthy weight and for my height, and it stays fairly consistent. So there's that one. Now I'm thinking, do I do all the legs this colour and the body in that colour? Is that going to look really weird? I don't know. I'm going to do this colour for these. As I said, I was going to do this colour all the way around this bit. It's a really pretty colour, isn't it? Very vibrant too. Right, sorry, I can't help myself but fiddle around. Okay, now this one. And this one is the same. I can hear a bird. Sounds like a goldfinch. We used to get them in our garden all the time when we fed the birds. Lovely little things, but I haven't seen any for a while. I'm trying to look out the window while I'm colouring, but it's not really a good idea. I'm going to look now. Bear with me. No, I can't see anything in the tree. So if it is one, I don't know where it's hiding. Now I'm wondering, do I do this big leaf like this? and keep following my idea. I can hear, actually, I don't know if you can hear it. I can see a bit of grey I've missed. I'm going to use the 33. It sounds like a little baby bird. I know the pigeons have got a nest in the tree, so I'm wondering if it's that. I'm going to go all over this leaf first. I realised there are these rounded bits here, these bits. I'm going to do those in the darker colour in a minute, and I think that'll help to sort of make the leaves come together, because some of them have got the two colours on, hopefully. We'll see how it all works. There we go. So I'll grab the other green, which, to remind you, was the 23. Oh, sorry, I just had to rub my eye. And I will just, I'm not going to do it as hard. I don't want it looking really vibrant like that one. Just putting a layer on top to just darken those bits. Like that. I think it helps to draw it together a little bit. I think so anyway. Right, now we have, where are we going now? Going up at the top. We'll do this bit. Oh, I'm still cold though, because I didn't drink my coffee yet. It'll be cold by the time I get round to drinking it as well. I'm tempted to fetch a cardigan. It's June. I mean, this video is going out to July, but it's June when I'm recording, end of June. Shouldn't be needing a cardigan on, but my feet are like little icicles under this desk, all curled up underneath me, trying to stay warm. But I shall be okay. I'm not that cold. Obviously the heating isn't on because it's summer. And oh, talking of heating, that reminds me I need to move some things around on my radiators. My radiators come on when the hot water's being used. I don't know why, but that's what happens. So I can dry a few things on the radiators. Right, I'm going to do those in the darker colour. Yeah, I think I'm going to switch to 23 now and we'll move across here. So we'll do this bit. So again, darker near the other leaf and then lighter towards the tip. I did wonder if that bit was actually grey, but I think it's the top of this bit. Should put it straight. You'll be twisting your head trying to look. I was going to say, or twisting your screen, but screens don't like being turned, do they? They then turn the picture thinking they're being helpful. Sometimes they really aren't. There you go. So I'm trying to do it darker here where it overlaps. Well, it's an overlap where it touches. Lighter there. What I think I'm going to do here is do dark on all these ear and then do the eye in a lighter colour, and it will help it stand out in the same way that this light bit has framed these flowers. That's my thought, and we'll see if it comes out. So I'm going to do this bit. I'm going to do quite a lot of dark across all of these. I'm just doing them as a bunch to start with, like that, and now I'll deal with each one. Just try and fade it down towards the edge and the bottom a little bit like that. As I say, you can, as I said before, you could do this with any set of pencils really. You just need a couple of shades of colour. I'm just using, I like these, they're so vibrant, and I haven't used them for a while, so I was like, oh, I'll use those for a bit. You know, it's just, sometimes you sort of almost forget about a set, and I just thought they'll be ideal because they sharpen to a good point, which is what you need on a page like this when you've got lots of fine details. And they have a nice, just had the right colours really, because I wanted good different greys, and some sets don't have greys. In my Polycolour set, there's only 12 in that set, has no greys at all, just a black. Now we're just going to do this one all the same pressure throughout, the same amount of layers. I think the easiest way to do it, because it's quite thin. I think we'll notice bits of grey I've missed once this is filled out. Sometimes it's not easy to spot them until you've actually done the rest of the page, sort of thing. See, I think there's a missing bit in there. Okay, I'm going to do this one next. And then we'll sort out the grey in a minute. Now this one, as these get a little bit longer, you could start to fade them towards the end. I'm going to try and do that a little bit. It's quite difficult on those first few where they're so small. But as I say, if you're working in your book rather than on a postcard, then that'll be slightly easier for you. Okay, I'm just going to grab my grey again and just fill in that bit. I think the rest is pretty much okay, but I'm just going to fiddle and faddle because, yeah, you know, it's me. Okay, let's do the eye. We're going to do the 25. Try out my plan. It's a sharpen. Ooh. Try and put it in the wrong hole of the sharpener. I don't think there's even a blade in the other hole at the minute. There we go. Now right around the eye, there's that white. I'm going to leave that as white, I think. I was a little unsure as to quite what to do with it, but I think I'm going to leave it white, as if it's the white of the eye. I'm not entirely sure if that's what it's supposed to be. I'm swapping back to my darker number 23 now to do all this detailing. It's quite fine. I may need to sharpen. I'm going to have a go without, because I think I've got a sharpish bit on my pencil. Just remembered I'm expecting a phone call today and some parcels. Though my husband reckons the parcels will be later in the day, we'll see. It's because they're Amazon parcels. They tend to, our Amazon deliveries usually come late in the day unless they come with a postman. Often they come with a different driver. But I'm expecting my new keyboard. I'm looking forward to getting that. I'm borrowing my husband's at the moment. He's not got one on his desk, but he doesn't need it for a few days because he was using his what's it called, Chromebook. His is big and chunky. It's taken me a few days. It's typical, isn't it? It's taken me a few days to get used to it because some of the keys are in different places and things like that. I'm sure if you've swapped keyboards you'll understand. But now when my new one arrives, I'll be going back to how my old one was. So it'll probably take me another few days to get back used to using it again. But it's nicer having a smaller one because it takes up less room on my desk when I've got a colouring book on there. But it is wireless, which means that I can just pop it on the floor if I need to, out of the way. But I tend to like having it on the desk so I can type at the same time, so I can lean over my colouring book and do a bit of typing. Okay, there is the trunk. Now the leg, this leg, I'm still undecided whether to do, I think I'm going to do this one, I know. I'll do the two back legs darker and the two front legs lighter, because if you think about dark and shade, those are further away, they might be darker. That's a good reason. Obviously this is a very realistic elephant. Not. But anyway. We'll try it. Well, I'll try it and then you can decide if you like it. you would have already have seen the completed picture in the thumbnail at the beginning of the video, which I haven't seen. So you'll know if you like it or not. Oh, these leads want to break today, don't they? My sharpener's full. Hold on, I'm going to empty my sharpener and come back. That's why it's breaking. Right, back again. I used my rotary sharpener while I was next door, but I did empty my other one, so it should stop breaking my pencils now. I won't say anything about that. Oops. It's probably the best. I do press too hard. These are fairly sturdy pencils, really. Obviously anything that's sharpened to a tiny, tiny point is going to be delicate. But these can take a fair good amount of pressure, I think. But I try not to press too hard. Oh, I think the sun's trying to shine. This lead feels wobbly. That's unusual for one that comes out of the rotary sharpener to wobble. Turn it around. That's better. Bottom of the foot. Leg. Oh, telephone's ringing. Hold on. Oh, back again. Yes, it was an it was someone phoning asking me if I wanted some personal finance. No, thank you. I'm a great believer in saving up for what you want to buy. Like when I wanted a new camera for this, I waited until I'd earned enough money through YouTube ads and affiliate links and then bought it with that, rather than, I mean, I could have taken it out of our household finances, to be fair, but I didn't want to do that. Back leg, I felt that wasn't really the right way to do it. So I have to keep a note of all the money that I have that comes in through, I say all the money, the millions and billions of pounds, no, the earnings that I have from YouTube, because we have to declare it all for tax purposes anyway. So I keep a record, and then alongside my other business, my freelance writing, and then I know how much I'm getting in, so I can save up for things like I saved up for a lamp and a camera. And at the moment I haven't really thought too much about purchases. I tend to buy Johanna Basford's latest book, so I've got a couple of those on pre-order, so it will use for those, which will be nice, so I can do you flip throughs and videos and things. Now I said I want to do this light, so I'm going to sort of go backwards up the leg. Excuse me, I just took a sip of coffee after being on the phone. The sun is coming in. I hope it's not too distracting if I colour here without the shadow doesn't go across the page. I don't really want to shut the blind because I reckon the sun's going to disappear in a minute. Knowing the sun, we'll see. Gosh, it's really bright. I didn't expect the sun to come out today, somehow. Just going to check in the camera. Is that really irritating? I don't know. I'm going to just go do a bit more and decide whether to close up or not. Gosh, it's really, really windy. It's very strange weather. I've done that one. I think I know. Does that belong to that? No. I think I'm going to do those two in this colour. And then I'm going to think about what's going to be what colour. I feel like these are sort of close enough to the top of the leg that they could be that colour. Now I'm going to where's the sunshine? I'm going to show you it anyway. Sorry about the shadow. This bit is pale, so I'm going to do some dark green along this bit and then work out. I'll probably do these dark and this and this. Maybe all of these actually. Maybe the tail in a lighter colour. So So I think I'm going to do all this in the dark green. I am going to shut the blind though. Bear with me, it'll go very dark. I'll keep talking so you know that I haven't disappeared and cut you off. That it will slowly go dark and the camera will just, oops, I've got some plugs on my windowsill. It tends to interfere. There we go. So now you can see it all, sorry. Right, the darker green. Number 23. Let's go ahead with these. So yes. Yeah. Yes, so no, I don't. We borrowed money in the past when we had less, when our earnings were lower. We had to borrow to buy a car once because we just needed. Well, I don't have I've never owned a car, but my husband's car, you know, he needed a new car. We didn't have the money, so we did that, and we felt it was better value to get a loan and buy a car than to buy a cheaper car for it to break down more quickly. That was the decision we made. It may or may not have been the right decision. I think it always is so specific to whether you make a good choice of car. But anyway, we did that, and we borrowed money to buy our house. So that was, but I think for me a mortgage is not the same, you know, but that was that, and I think that's all. We borrowed from father-in-law once to buy a computer, paid him back early. That was for when I was starting out in business and I needed a computer. I asked him if he could help us out because we couldn't borrow money because my husband wasn't in work. It's a bit of a risk that, but it worked out in the end. He got a job quite quickly and I started earning and I paid back very quickly. But I don't tend to borrow very much. I don't really like it. I know it can be useful, as I say, for mortgages and things, so I'm not totally against it, but it depends what you're buying. I think, is it good and bad debt is how some people put it. You know, a house would normally be good debt, normally, if you can afford the repayments and if it's a house that's in a good area. They've got a bit of grey there. But if you're borrowing to splash out on some luxuries, then it's probably better to wait if you don't need the items. It's a tricky one to do. You know, we're all a bit different in what we consider to be necessary purchases and what we don't. You know, it depends, I think, partly on our age, because I grew up without having a phone. We had a landline, and we didn't have mobiles and things like that. So to me, having a mobile is not a necessity. I have a really cheap one that isn't a smartphone, so that I can be contacted or can contact in an emergency. I don't believe I need any other type of phone. I have a tablet which is for playing. That was a gift from my husband, and if I had to go without it, I would. You know, I don't consider it to be a necessity. It's fun, it's a toy. You know, I'm lucky that I got one. You know, but some people, you know, would feel that having a smartphone is a complete necessity, that they couldn't manage without one. And I sort of understand that. This is number 33. If you've grown up like that with one all the time, then I can understand why you would worry that you wouldn't manage without one. I don't like that. I'm going to make this a bit darker. And try to graduate that shading a bit better, so it doesn't look white. There we go. The same on these. They don't look so white, but they do look pale. There we go. Now we have the tail. So remember I said I'm going to try 20, 25. There we go. Now let's have a look. This one has got those little circles on. Remember on here we did these in a lighter colour. This one a darker colour. This one I'm going to do over in this lighter one. I don't think it's going to lighten it. I think it's going to darken it, but it will at least acknowledge that I can see there's something going on there that's a bit different. I'm going to do the same on this one and go over these veins, and on this one go over here. I think it just, can you see? Yes. It just makes it look a little different. There we go. Down on these two. Now let's zoom our way out and have a look at our Ellie. See how he is looking. So we have all the greens done. You could take a bit more time, get your blends looking neater. I am not going to do that now. I'm thinking about background, but I have these white tusks that I don't want to damage with pastel. Now something that you could do is use some what's it called, masking fluid. Now I've never tried it with pastels, but I would assume that it would work. But what I'm going to do is use my Prisma white, and I'm going to colour them in white, and I'm going to hope that it acts as a sort of buffer that will stop the pastel attaching to this area of tusk, not horn, tusk. If you watched yesterday's video, you'll know what I mean. So I'm going to try that and see if it works. Now I've chosen the Prisma rather than the Kolores brand pencil because I know that it can go on really thickly and it goes down well. Some whites don't really work. I don't know about the Kolores one, so that's gone down. I don't know, you probably can't really see that I've done anything, but that doesn't matter. Now here are my pastels, my Mungyo soft pastels, and I'm going to come out even more. There's a risk now, you can see my messy desk. Hang on. Just move the pencils away and put the pastels here. I'm going to choose the colour and with you to show you. I want something that's going to make those flowers stand out. So here are the pastels. Let's actually not put them on top of the postcard. So here are the pastels, here's the postcard. So what I'm looking for is a sort of reddy purple. Yeah, so we've got two purples here, they're quite bluey, and we've got a really deep pink. We haven't really got anything else, so I think I'm going to go for this colour here. Okay, so let's reorganise ourselves. I'm going to put a piece of scrap paper underneath my Ellie, so that when I get pastel all over the place it won't go on my desk. Oops, and I'm going to grab some a little cloth to apply it. They're all dirty. Here we go. This one, I think I need to do some washing. They're all a bit mucky, but this one's just stained. It's not, I don't think it's been used. It might have been actually, but never mind, it'd be okay. We'll find a clean bit to use. Roll it around your finger like that, so there's a pad of my finger there, and I'm going to rub it onto the pastel that I want, and then apply it onto the postcard. Now I'm going to keep hold of the card, but I'm going to hold not on the edge where I'm going to apply the pastel, but on the pencil bit. And go around. Now I don't want it really dark, but I want you to be able to see that it's there. So let's get a bit more. There's also a risk of doing this. It's going to go on top of the grey, but hey, we'll take that risk and see what happens. It's quite interesting how this is sitting on the postcard. It's not massively smooth, you can see, but I'm not worried about that. I think that adds something to it. I like that. Now I'm actually going to turn this. I normally try and keep everything the right way up, but it doesn't really need to be the right way up for you to see. Now we're going over these tusks and we're going to see they've gone pink. But when I brush off the pastel, will it disappear or has it stained them? We'll find out, won't we? But I'll show you how to deal with them anyway. Now we can leave it there. I'm going to keep going just a tad. Put a bit more on. The more you rub, the more even it becomes, if you want it even, and the more pushes down into the paper, and so it also gets darker. And it's quite fun and therapeutic, I find, applying pastel, as long as you're not worried about what it might look like. You can see how it's going down anyway. And there are bits that are going slightly pink, but yeah, that's fine. Oh, I don't want to do that. Do you see why I put the piece of paper down? Okay, let's not do that. Let's turn it here. I just want to put a bit more at the top. It's a little bit easier doing it this way for me than leaning over it. I'm happy with that. I think under the trunk it's actually a bit pale, isn't it? I thought it was okay. Now when I looked in the camera I could see that it was a bit pale there. And probably here too. Oops, sorry, I'm moving it everywhere. I'm trying hard not to. Right. Now I'm going to brush it off with my brush. And actually those tusks are very, very pink, but I'm going to show you what we can try and do. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I'm actually going to take it off this piece of scrap paper. Just move that aside. I'll throw that away later. You can see they're pink. So I'm going to try and erase it. I was going to bring my other eraser in because it's bright pink and it'll be easier to find than this one, which is black. So I'm going to use my Tombow Mono, and I've got the rounded edge one. You can get a square one and a round one. It's a bit awkward. I'm going to turn him upside down, all round that way. So I've got to try and lean my hand not on the card. And I'm going to just try to take away that pink. There's an alternative to this, is that you could just get a white pen and draw in white, but you would lose the black markings that Johanna's drawn on. I'm just trying to gently lift that pink pastel. The pastel does come off with an eraser, sorry, I've gone out of shot. So there we go. A bit of a residue, I think it's from the pencil, the white pencil. I'm just going to keep working it until it comes off. That's it. There we go. There, now they look white. Just did a few bits. I'm being fussy. There we go. So there is our Ellie. Let's zoom out on him. Now the pastel is obviously going to come off on my hands and my fingerprints might show up on it. So the way to address that is fixative spray. Now I use a Loxley brand, and I know you can't get that brand in USA. I have heard of, I'm trying to think of the names, Krylon, maybe, which some people use, but it's just a matter of working out what I like a workable fixative, so you can spray it on, you can colour over, and then if you spray it on too early and you want to change something, you can do that. They do smell. I use them only outside, and when it's, especially when it's windy, so it blows away, and not when my neighbour's washing's on the line. Our gardens are very close and you wouldn't want that smell getting into your clothes. It's quite nasty. I do have an odourless one, but it doesn't work. It works, but you have to build up the layers. It's very wet and the page makes the pages curl. I'm not fond of that, so I'd rather use my smelly one and just use it in the summer. But anyway, my postcard is done and I've whittled on for long enough, but I hope that was okay for you and fun. I had fun with my little Ellie. Obviously you may not be such a fan of little Ellies as me, but anyway, it was good, and thank you to lovely Mary for sending it to me, because I have had lovely fun colouring it. So that's me. I hope you had a lovely day. I'll find something different to do tomorrow, not sure what, but tune in and there will be a video. And thank you so much for watching, and happy colouring.